Are you ready?
To be fired up.
Welcome, Ram fam, to our second episode of our Fired Up podcast. We do this podcast monthly. I'm here with my partner in crime, Mr. Mcclendon.
Hey there, Susan. How's everything there on the old West Coast?
Things are grand, actually. It's about 70, probably about 72 degrees. It's a little warm.
Yeah, that is nice. That is nice. It hasn't stopped raining here since I got home.
Well, and I think you're expecting some more rain, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I know it's been pouring
This week.
yesterday, today, tomorrow. Yeah. So it's time for me to travel again and get out of this crappy New York weather.
Well, are you in a hurry to get out already? We just got back.
I know, but the weather's nicer everywhere else.
This is true. Not for me, though.
No, for you it gets.
You gotta drag me away from this California
it gets
weather.
worse everywhere you go.
It does, really. It was so nice out, though. I actually worked out this morning. It was really nice. I got up a little bit early and worked out. I wanted to take a run, but I instead used the gym. We have a little gym here in the complex.
Oh, okay.
So I like to switch it up. I get bored easily doing the same thing over and over again. That might be a shocker.
Yeah, try to do that workout every day thing.
Yeah.
At some point. At some point there'll be time for it.
With the traveling you're doing.
Yeah, running to connecting flights. Isn't that like that's a workout as long as I don't stop at PF Chang's in between.
Yeah, that pretty
much
counteracts everything.
Traveling through Atlanta Airport is a secret hidden gem. You can eat quickly in and out in your connection and sit and watch all the planes fly by yourself without anyone bothering you. So there's my plug for PF Chang's.
Yeah, no, that is, you took me once. You took me the last time. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It was great, right?
It was
so
perfect.
Quick. Yeah.
My belly was definitely full on the plane, though, I got to tell you. It was a little too full. Too full.
Slept well.
But I did sleep well. Well, listen, I am super excited. You and I are finally together on this podcast again. We've been, I know, we're pretty much sick of each other at this point. We've seen each other, I think, more than our own spouses have.
Really, I have to see you and deal with you again? I thought I was through with you for a couple months.
Believe it or not, I'm not always this pleasant.
Yes, you are. That's so true, especially at 8:30.
Yeah, stop buttering me up for the next trip. I know what you're doing. Yeah, I heard some buzz around some Dominican Republic clients, a trip to the DR. So I don't know about that.
They offered some resort to do the training at. You'll be fine. You'll love it.
Okay. All right. We'll talk later. So, so much to talk about this episode. The main topic is what makes a dealership team special. And I love this topic because you and I think we had a good reference point before all of this traveling, but just recently we visited, 10, 12, 15 different dealership groups. Yeah,
15, I think it's been.
Yeah, and we've been on the road quite a bit, and we've experienced, some teams, some better than others, but it's fascinating because we visit all kinds of dealerships, don't we?
Yep. Yeah. Everything from a small mom and pop dealership in Maine all the way, down to, a group like Penske. We just have everyone in between and in different areas of the country where you see it, Susan, we talk about it all the time. Like we travel all over the country, but there's certain parts that are just in a different game. And there's some that play the game great in their neighborhood, but couldn't play in other regions or other parts of the country. It's amazing, the professionalism that we see, but at varying levels.
These teams have all had to deal with, a certain amount of inventory issues, some worse than others, but it's interesting also to see how these people respond to changes and, demanding changes, quick changes like that, how fast the leadership teams can get their folks to change and react and modify and adjust. And so we're going to talk about all of those things that make the great teams great. But there's a whole lot of other things that I would like to discuss. First of all, just what we've been doing these past couple of months, all of the dealerships that we've trained, what we're doing. And then we just came back from NADA 2022 in Las Vegas, Nevada, no masks. How awesome was that to see everybody again?
Forget about that. Let me tell you all a secret. The night before NADA, the first night, Thursday night of NADA, this one right here, Susan Gaitan, zip-lined right down Fremont Street.
I know.
She did.
I did. But listen, what this guy's not telling you right here is that he's afraid of heights a little bit. I had no idea. You were really fake. I mean, you played it off so well.
Yeah, well, it was fun.
I would have had no clue. But yeah, no,
you know what? It was fine. Once you got off of the platform, once you were flying through the air, you were good.
Oh yeah.
For me, it was going up in the tower and waiting and the feeling the tower shake and like I couldn't do. Even the part when they stopped the whole thing and had to fix my strap because I was about to die and no one noticed. That was amazing.
Thank God somebody did.
I don't know. It's like I didn't even get off. I was like, you know what? You guys screwed up the strap. I'm sure you're good this time. Let's go.
But you're right. It's that anticipation, right? No, I was literally counting how many straps were being secured on the person in front of me. And then when the guy was strapping me, and I'm like,
you were counting.
That's 3. That's 4.
Yeah,
that's 5.
You see, you were way smarter than I was in all this.
But our imagination gets the best of us. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. But NADA was that like excitement as well. Like as exciting as it was whipping down Fremont Street. Like Susan, tell me, like, what was the most exciting thing you think you saw? That just kind of like this sums up our industry in this moment. What did you see that was just really exciting to you?
Oh my gosh, there's so much. I got to tell you, it wasn't one thing specific. I think it was the overall energy. Everybody, you could tell it was very obvious that, everybody was so happy to see each other again.
Yeah.
Especially maskless. We were at Digital Dealer last October, but we were wearing masks most of the time, except for those last hours. Right?
Most of the time. Somehow the enforcement at the hotel ended at the convention hall. I
mean, it was a little loosey-goosey in there, right? But I mean, it's us. So, but this time around, there was a definite energy, and it was just infectious, and you could feel it. And it wasn't about competition. It wasn't about although listen, there's some competition. Obviously, everybody wants to be the best. But I think more than anything, it was the camaraderie and the networking that, whether you're at a dealership in New York or, you're in California or Kentucky, or you're on the sales floor, or you're a vendor who serves dealerships, everybody was going to inspire or to be inspired. And so I just, and if I could just, come down to just one big thing that I think made it special, I think it was our team. I think we really did. It was the first time that we had seen each other. Some of us, have known each other virtually and have spent a lot of virtual time together. But that was just amazing. We've got such a freaking awesome team, don't we?
We do. And they're just so personable, and they made so many connections on that show floor. And we got to have great conversations. Like you said, there was some excitement and buzz in the air. And it was almost like, as an industry, we survived the last 2 years. And yeah, the road ahead isn't that pretty, and no one really has many great answers, but we're all in this boat together. And let's just ride this out and we'll figure it out. We figured out the last 2 years. And it's interesting too, because we haven't had like a national crisis like this affecting the industry since like 2008.
Right.
There's been regional things like a hurricane here or a natural disaster there, or whatever it is. But on the whole, something that's really affected the entire industry. This is the first time since 2008 that we've experienced this, and we're still in it, right? We still have that we still have dealers saying, help me out with these inventory problems.
Right.
How can you help me fix my script? Get through these conversations. Who I don't have a card for them, but I want to get their money so I can put a deposit down.
And that's a really good point, because I felt like there were a lot of people searching for answers. I think that that wave everyone rode recently, or some might still be riding. I think it's finally becoming apparent to people, or it's finally sinking in that it's not going to last.
Well, you're seeing it, right? You're seeing with used cars now, right? So used cars is becoming a thing with inventory problems, used car pricing doing, it's all becoming like, okay, we got to figure this out again.
Right. We got to go back to basics. What is it that sets us apart,
Right. And realizing, listen, Susan, how many conversations have you had with dealers when we were visiting them or at NADA who have said something to the effect of, my staff is fat and happy and they're getting bad habits?
Oh, we, more than a handful of times we've heard it. More than that. Yeah, no, it's definitely something I think that dealership managers are at least thinking about,
that's them looking over the horizon a little bit, right? I mean, they're not usually looking this far over the horizon when it comes to their staff.
Right.
And think, Susan, all the travel we've done is not by accident. Like, good dealers are waking up to this problem that, think about, what did we have with the dealer that had a Range Rover store? He said to us, I'm sold out for the next 2 years. How do I keep my managers motivated?
Imagine that. I'm sold out. Anybody that calls or inquires, it's okay. Let me put you on a list.
And my staff knows they have commissions coming and sold cars coming for the next 2 years. And if they lose a customer, no big deal. Right. I got 6 months to go sell that car anyway. Who cares? That's what's happening.
Yes. So it's definitely some interesting times. But I think that there were a lot of, there's a group, I just have to mention, because we also met and networked with a lot of other vendors and groups.
Wait a second. Let's bow to the podcast queen right here. Second. Hanging out. Look at her with our coffee guy, Blaine, right? She's got the swag from the coffee guys. She's doing True Car podcast. She was doing Coffee Guy podcast. She was
True Car, got a little True Car list.
No. And then her, look, it's like a scene right out of
Wayne's World.
Yeah.
If you're not watching this right now, you got to pause and rewind like 30 seconds.
But yeah,
I could have gotten some extra money for all that. But
Susan was, so the belle of the ball, so to speak, when it came to people wanting to have conversations with her about problems that they're having in their stores right now and how to solve them.
It was definitely a lot of flattery. I've always just seen myself as somebody who likes to help people at the dealership. And it was nice. It was really nice to convene with other folks and to, be spotlighted like that. But yeah, just huge shout out to Coffee Car Guys, obviously, for having Melanie Borden and I on their podcast. And then Matt Jones over at TrueCar. Love that guy, and he knows it. But that, he's also highlighted some of the stuff that we had and interviewed me on a couple of things. But lots of great people that we connected with. And on that note, let's talk about Melanie Borden. She's not here, so we can talk about her.
Want to know a secret about Melanie?
Yes.
Do you want to know a secret about Melanie?
Yes.
I met Melanie when she was a brunette.
That is wild. That is wild.
Yes,
I can't even imagine her. I mean, I think I saw a picture.
Listen,
roaming around.
She's stuck. There's definitely a picture of roaming around somewhere.
Oh no, I think I've seen. I don't believe it. It looks like but she's beautiful. She's still gorgeous. She
looks great, and but now that hair has become part of her brand and personality, and there's no going back.
Yeah, she's definitely got the Joyzy do.
Tell me, Susan,
with the hair. Yeah,
the Joyzy girl.
She even says she goes big sometimes, and people have to pat it down for her. I think those were her words. Exactly.
I think she had that when she was shooting for us. So Susan, tell us, Melanie's exciting. She's all over. I can't go on LinkedIn or anywhere else online, Instagram, etc., and not have Melanie everywhere. So tell me, what impressed you so much about her that you were like, listen, do this with us, join us on this journey from social to showroom?
Yeah. Well, I did not know her. I hadn't met her previous to you connecting us. All I knew was that she was all over socials. I'd seen it for myself. And so I didn't know a lot going in. But I will say this, that, we both put our heads down on this project, and there was a lot of focused time and a lot of time spent together, working together. And listen, 24 years I've been in the auto industry. I have worked with several people, some easier than others, Michael Renault. And no, I'm kidding. But she's a doll. She is one of the, if not one of the hardest working single mothers that I have seen. And I witnessed that work ethic. So again, I didn't know her previously, but I was delighted to work with her, alongside her, shoulder to shoulder. And both of us have that in common. We're both single moms that are pushing hard to do what's right and to be great examples for our children and for our girls. And so I have so much respect for her. She also knows her stuff. She knows her stuff. You can't argue with that. So I think it was just a beautiful marriage. I think, with her expertise on socials, and then, with us really knowing how to convert leads into shoppers and buyers and how to get bodies into the dealership. That is what we know how to do well. You combine those two things and you have a recipe, a formula for succeeding on social media in the future, and we all know that that's where all of our shoppers are, that's where most shoppers are watching you, scrolling through your feed more than you'll ever have dialing or even walking into your dealership. So I think it's exciting.
Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it? And it's so, like you said, so groundbreaking in so many ways. The way this program is going to be so different and benefit our clients in a different way, right? The big one of, listen, on the laundry list of challenges that dealers and desk managers deal with, the one that's easiest to take and throw away is answering anything that has to do with social leads. Mm-hmm. And it's so easy to throw away, but when you think of the value, when I think of if I can turn to that same sales manager and say, 30 years ago, when you started in the business, if I told you there was an absolutely free way to advertise yourself and get customers to the door, and you don't have to pay a dime, and thousands of people geo-targeted in your neighborhood are going to see it, you'd be all over that thing in 30 seconds.
And, unfortunately, most people will wait until, that sort of the next phase of that hump, right? But we are being proactive and offering the solutions to people. So I think it's going to be great. In fact, I know that there's absolutely nothing like this out on the market for dealerships right now.
No, this is going to take that engagement to a different level.
Mm-hmm.
This is when you go from saying, we're happy selling 150 cars to overnight adding another 20, 25 cars into the dock, because now I know how to engage this entire audience that I've just been tripping over.
Mm-hmm.
Because they so happen to come in the door and they so happen to answer my templated email back to them instead of a real engagement.
Mm-hmm.
What Susan and Melanie have put together is real engagement, true real engagement that will make it easy for your salespeople. This isn't complicated stuff, and they don't make it complicated. They really make it simple, easy, just to bring someone back into the door. And same concept we do on phones. We don't sell cars on the phone. We don't sell cars on social media. We just create those opportunities. Right, Susan?
On that note, yes, you're absolutely right. I think the biggest takeaway from this course is going to be, a lot of people use the term social selling, but that term in itself is very contradicting. And I'll tell you why. Social media is not about the quick sale. It's not about just selling a car. It's about creating a fan base. It's about branding yourself. It's about separating yourself and creating those followers that like you, that become fans, and they want to buy a car from you, and they seek you out because they like you. And so the result isn't just a sale. The result is exponential opportunities, right? And so we are not selling this. In fact, we call it the biggest farming method we have to cultivate, opportunities, deals, but also ones that will compound in time. So, if you understand that, and again, most of it is free, like you said, so I think you nailed it when you said people aren't taking advantage. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are on social media, but they're on autopilot. I find, and I'm sure you've seen this too. You see a lot of managers that know that they need to be on there.
Listen,
all they do is just share. Oh, that's cool. Let me share it. Oh, that's cool. Let me share it. Right?
They lost the hunger. I don't care what you say. This market has crushed the hunger out of good managers that they've gotten. I don't care. I got cars sold for 2 years. Who cares? Mm-hmm. What am I going to do? I don't want any more customers coming through the door. I don't have cars for them. All I have is headaches about no cars for them. Mm-hmm. That's the loss of hunger I'm talking about. You should want every deal, every customer. I don't care if I have to. Listen, we have that same Range Rover store that we're talking about that has a backlog of 2 years. You know how they solved their problem, Susan? You know how they solved it? They solved their problem by telling people, I'll put you in this 2-year-old or 1-year-old CPO, okay? And you have that car for 1.5 years. And then when your new car comes in, I'll give you a great price, get you out of that car. Don't worry about it. We'll put you in your new one.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Look at that.
Oh, now I have a happy guy who's going to come back to me in 1.5 years for the car. And he's not going to call me every single day. Hey, Susan, is my car ready? Hey, Susan, is my car ready? Is my car ready? When's my car ready? Easy peasy.
Yeah.
So, Susan, there's a perfect example. What now? Let's go to your topic. What makes a dealership right?
Yeah, nice little segue. So, yeah, I mean, gosh, it's fascinating because it doesn't matter. I mean, we've been on the road a couple months, seen about 15 rooftops. But even before that, you and I have collectively how many years in retail auto? On the retail side, I had 21. You've got,
right,
couple of decades of experience here. So we've seen a thing or two, but it doesn't matter what brand you sell, whether it's economy, entry-level cars, whether it's luxury. supercar, whether it's Land Rover, Jag. You could be a franchise dealership or an independent dealership. But it doesn't matter. Those things are not what makes a dealership special. And we've seen that proven to us just recently. But so, yeah, what makes a team special though, if it's not all those things?
I think what makes a team, first of all, it's how the type of leader you have and who is at the top, and do they understand that the people who are working for them aren't just a bunch of people who work for me and they're a dime a dozen and I can get rid of you tomorrow and replace you with someone else, the next day after. It's someone who realizes that these people are my charges. I'm responsible for these people. They have hopes and dreams. And because we're in a commission-based business, how do I tap into those hopes and dreams to get your peak performance? How do I sit you down and say, Susan, how much money do you want to make? How can I get you there? Let's do it together. This is how we're going to do it. And this is how it's going to happen.
Let's see, do you think that that's typical of a dealership traditionally?
No, I think the typical dealer and the typical salesman is because it's how I was raised and it was how you were raised in this business of just whatever. If they don't want to do it, F them. I don't care. I'll find another one. I'll find 15 others like them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would put 3 new sales guys on the floor, put them through training. And we knew that one of them was going to stick. The other 2 wouldn't last. I'm sure, we were a smaller volume. I'm sure people do that with 10 salespeople.
Exactly. But it's terrible to do with the amount of time that you waste shooting and shuffling and dealing with bad employees and all this stuff. You could have trained and invested in the people who you believed mattered and make a difference. And that's what's missing. It's just easier to bring people in and out of here. But to mentor someone, to grow and nurture that person because I spend so much time training someone as opposed to mentoring them. And Susan, you have a great example of mentorship. You had an amazing mentor in this business who you still talk about today. Yeah. Like he was still with us mentoring.
Oh, absolutely. I do have I think everyone has, 1, 2, 3, maybe a handful of people, for different areas of their life that they can lean on, that serve as great examples. But this gentleman, his name was Bill Mcclendon. He, God rest his soul, he's passed away, but he, this gentleman taught me, you have one reputation in the car industry, one, take care of it. And people would come from all parts of the city and even the state just to buy a car from him that hadn't seen him in years sometimes. So he taught me to take care of your people. Now, this was a gentleman who had, he was not only a general manager, but a dealer partner as well. But he had grown up in the industry. So he started out as a porter. And, I love these stories where people start out in the trenches with, the gang, and then they rise up, and they earn their badges, their colors, their stripes, right? So, this was the prime example of that. And, if times got tough, if we were in a jam, he'd roll up his sleeves and he'd wash a car, in his dress shirt and his, so this was the kind of guy that you knew had your back. You guys what?
How many guys out there do that today?
I mean, listen, that was my mentor. But you nailed it. I think that.
But what did that mean to you, Susan? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no.
To have someone like that, where here we are today, he's no longer with us here. Okay. God bless him. He's somewhere else, but his thought, you still think about him.
He's in here.
He still impacts your thoughts.
He's in here.
Decision. Exactly. And you will always remember him. And why don't more managers want to be remembered that way? It's mind-boggling. Why don't you? That's our legacy in this business. Our legacy isn't how many cars you sold and how much money you've done and all that stuff. It's how many guys talk about you after you're gone. Maybe
how many guys?
Hopefully. How many guys talk about you when you've left the store, when you've gone other places, when you've done other things, or you just retired and you're sitting on the beach or fishing? But how many people still talk to you about you? How many people still tell stories about you? Might be funny, hysterical stories that you've done, but it also could be just serious lessons that people have taught you. I walk around and I talk about Roberto Castillo all the time, who taught me that when you pass that quote sheet across, you shut up and listen, and the first one to talk loses. I'll never forget him for that. And I share that story. So how are you going to be remembered?
Right.
What are they going to say about you when you're at the store? That's what you should be thinking about. And that's what great stores, and right, Susan?
Well, and you nailed it when you said how many guys are talking about you and how special you are. So I think because of how, because of the culture, the traditional culture of, this is not a serious, viable career, I think that prevents people from looking onward to the future, right? We know that. And the next thing you know, it's 10 years later and they're still in the car business, right? But I think that is one of the fundamental issues there. But I think today things have changed, but you nailed it. You might be successful. You might have had success, but how many people have you made successful?
Exactly. Think about it. Everyone complains about, the millennials and this generation and blah, 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 blah. It's our fault. The way the millennials are and the way all of them are all fault. We are the older generation. I am Generation X or whatever they call me.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I am. And it's my responsibility to mentor the millennials. Just like the greatest generation, or whoever it was that mentored me, okay, and mentored Susan, okay, that group that was 20, 30 years older than us that are now in their 70s, they're the ones who mentored us and shaped us. And they said the exact same BS that we say about the millennials, they said about us.
This is true.
The only difference is Susan and I weren't picking up our phones and flipping through Instagram and seeing friends of ours who are living their lives and making money, traveling across the country, blogging or whatever the hell they're doing. And I'm sitting at this dealership day in and day out, making the same amount of money they are traveling the world. So what are you going to do to inspire and mentor these people?
Right.
Like, you're going to go.
Something else, and this became very apparent in one of our last classes. I'm sure that you'll remember once I start mentioning. We actually have added some really cool leadership content, some little leadership workshops into our Management by Fire classes, right? So we don't only train the trainers and the coaches, but we also train them on how to implement these things, right? These processes into the dealership. And we got into a conversation with a gentleman who we had seen the year prior. This gentleman was already a manager, but he was a new manager. You and I were talking actually outside of class.
No, he wasn't a manager at the time. He was identified by the dealership as a next.
It was like the next generation of leadership. Got it.
He became a manager after we left, and we came back 8 months later. He was like 6 months into the manager.
Got it. So fresh, right? Fresh manager.
Still a fresh manager.
But here's the thing is Michael and I noticed it was so apparent the change and the growth that this guy had just in the past year. So him and I were talking about it in the car, I think.
On the way to the second day of
on the way to the second session. And we happened to mention it to this gentleman.
We gave him like a round of applause. We acknowledged him for growth.
Class in front of everybody.
Right.
And what happened?
There were tears, man. It was cool. This kid, he's not a kid. He's a grown man.
Compared to us.
Well, you know what? To sit in a room of your peers, to sit in a room of 25 of your peers and open up your heart and talk about, and your general manager is in the room. He's sitting 5 seats down for you. And you tell a story about how, life was hard and you slept in your car and showered at the YMCA. And this GM changed your life, not because he gave you money, not because he handed him what he needed to do, because he lifted him up and he mentored him.
Bingo.
And he took the time and effort and said, this is a guy I want standing next to me, because guess what? If I put in the time and effort and to massage him and make him a success, he'll take a bullet for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want sitting next to me at the podium. And that was, and both of them started.
I'm getting goosebumps now.
It was
remembering the moment.
Cool moment. It was such a cool sharing. It was cool for that general manager to have that acknowledgement. And again, in front of the room of his peers, in front of everybody, to get acknowledged that he did it. And everyone in the room shook their head. It was no secret. The best part is it was no secret and no surprise to anyone in this room that general manager caused that reaction in that employee, because he wasn't an employee to him. He was a charge. And this leads us right into a great plug for Management by Fire.
Yes, finally. It's been too long. It's been way too long. I miss our Management by Fire classes. But and just to end that part of the conversation on a high note, that is precisely what makes dealership teams special, is their leadership and how much they're investing into others to create a next round of leadership, to pull people up. And Alan himself used to say that it's not about giving folks a handout. It's about giving them a hand up. And I think that's precisely what occurred at this dealership with those two gentlemen. And this was our Hennessy team. Awesome team. And so shout out to Zach and RJ and Tamar. But yeah, that is what makes you special, is how good of a leader you are, how good of an example you are. And are you pulling your guys up? Are you training them to be the next round of leaders? Because guess what? They win and you win. And that is the mentality that I think the winning dealerships today have.
Are you a manager that just checks the boxes to keep the boss happy? Or are you the manager who's in partnership with the boss?
That's right. Ooh, I like that. I like that partnership.
That's a difference.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yes, boss. Am I yes, boss, whatever you want, boss? Yeah. Or am I, hey, boss, these are the things I'm doing to make this a better place. Be that guy. Don't be the yes, boss guy.
Right.
That's just like our sales team being waiters serving $30,000.
Yeah, that'll kill you being on autopilot. Definitely.
Yes, boss. Yes, boss.
So Management by Fire. We'll close with this, because you and I can ramble. So I'm going to cut you off at some point.
Everything I say is a gem. It's a gem. That's why I speak as much as I do. Yours are diamonds, but I got
gems.
Some gems here.
I love it. Okay, so your quotes will show up in a museum someday.
No, your diamonds are worth far more than gems. Trust me. That's why.
I see. You were giving me a compliment.
Yeah. I was saying your stuff are diamonds. Diamonds are worth.
Got it. Well, listen, we both had a lot of great things to say today, but let's talk about Management by Fire. We have a couple minutes. So. Long time waiting. We've had so many dealerships call up, but Corona was not letting us put this event on again. So Management by Fire, our next class is confirmed. We will be having our next class in Denver, Colorado, May 18th and 19th. Yes, this is going to be so exciting. And
it's been a long time since we've been in Denver as well. So it's been
a few years.
It's been a few years. We picked it because it's an easy fly in and out for everyone. We're staying we're doing it at the Westin, right at the airport. You don't have to Uber anywhere. You walk out of the terminal, you walk upstairs to your room.
Westin Denver International, the 18th and 19th. You know what I'm excited about?
What's that?
The group that we're going to have there.
It's going to be awesome, right?
It's going to be a dynamic team of people, I'll tell you that. So if you are a manager, if you have managers that you're training, if you have folks that are sticking their neck out that you feel could be the next generation of your leaders, this is the class to send them to. It's a 2-day class. It's intense. We've got all of Ellen's foundational content and strategies that we roll out to you, but we have made a lot of adjustments. We've modernized a lot of the scripting to include the challenges that salespeople are having today. So we have also added a lot of great leadership workshops. So it's going to be awesome. I love teaching it with you. We have a lot of fun. That's one thing we know for certain is that
we have a blast. And what we do too, which I really think has been fun component that we've added to this whole thing, is we pull back the curtain a little bit. Mm-hmm. How do Susan and I teach? Alan was a genius when it came to this course, and Susan's taking it to a different place by able to say, okay, this is the psychology behind why we do these things. This is why it happens, and this is why it has an impact on your employee. And this is how you teach it. This is why Susan is so effective at connecting. This is how we pass that.
We're giving away our secrets.
Yeah, we do. We do a little bit. And that's okay because we want you to be empowered. I don't want you dependent on us. As much as we love you dependent on us, the more my clients can call and have packages that involve less and less of our hand holding, the more I know you're self-sufficient, strong, and one of those great special teams that we're talking about here, right? So
that's the goal. That's always our goal, to train the trainers themselves. That's right.
We don't want you to be dependent on us.
No.
We want you to do this on your own.
Believe it or not. Yeah. I love it. I'm super stoked. I can't wait.
Awesome. Denver, please be there because you are going to take yourself to a different level. I promise you that.
Yes, definitely.
Have some fun.
It's a lot of fun. And then don't forget also, we are launching our brand new course with Melanie Borden on social media. The course is going to be called Social to Showroom. So look out for that coming April of 2022. And all the new
content in the dashboard for low inventory scripts, how to source more cars from your clients instead of the auction. It's all there in the vault, in the platform. And if you want to get access, give us a call today.
That's right. All right. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure as always.
Yes.
I hope you have some exciting plans this weekend. Not with the rain, maybe.
I'm getting on a plane again on Sunday. So.
Oh, how exciting. Okay. Well, we'll have a lot to talk about in our next session. So until then, folks, have fun.
Stay fired up.
And we'll see you guys soon.